Okay, 100th video. I don't know why I'm still feeling nervous. I should be used to this by now. Let's do this. Is art making you happy? Like most creative people, I've watched tons of artist interviews and YouTube videos and Arttuber videos of different artists explaining their process because I just find the whole creative process endlessly fascinating. That somehow made me want to do YouTube videos as well, but somehow that wasn't enough reason. I've always been super interested about the relationship between the artist and the art itself. And this is something that I've paid a lot of attention to when I've listened to all the interviews. And this is something that I usually do while I'm painting, because it just makes me feel like, I don't know, I have company. What I'm about to say next, I want everybody to understand that I don't mean anything mean by it, but it is something that has affected me a lot. I'm gonna explain the reason why. In the end, you will see why this whole thing even exists. Listening to how professional artists talk about their own art honestly always made me feel pretty bad, because there's this reoccurring theme that they always hate everything that they do and their best work is yet to come, and everything that they have made so far is kind of like a garbage to them. And they are just in the very beginnings of their art journey, but when they will get to the good part, it will someday get good and they will feel happy with the work that they are making. This is just not a single artist who has said this, but overall, most videos that I've been listening to, or interviews or podcasts, there's this whole culture of self-hatred. And this somehow started to be more and more apparent to me, and I was not okay with this. Mostly because it's how I felt about my art also, and it didn't make me feel great. It honestly made me quite depressed. There's one instance in particular where one digital artist, who I still look up to very much, said that he hates all the paintings he has done, and I love every single one of his paintings that he has ever done. And to me, hearing that just seems so shocking. I mean, that he's missing out on all the great artwork that he's doing himself, and that to me seemed somehow obviously wrong, this can't be. And he's missing out so much good art that he's making himself. So I was not okay with this. And working with a lot of concept artists, I've noticed that this is a general sentiment that is repeated by most artists everywhere. I would call this even a culture of self-hatred. It's very sticky because it kind of attaches itself to all the insecurities that artists have inherently in their life. And the insecurities come from the fact that creative work requires a lot of courage and bravery. And wherever there is a lot of courage and bravery, insecurity and shame are right next to those two feelings. They are always not that far off. And having this easy to attach feeling of self-hatred that is common to all artists or creative people, it's kind of an easy blanket to wrap yourself into. But I feel there is something lost in the message when you put on this persona of suffering artists, because when you use that courage and bravery to create a piece of artwork or a painting, when you have something to say, when you make that artwork and then show it to people and then immediately say that oh, this would be much better if there wasn't these silly mistakes that I do, but I just do them because I'm a terrible person. Those instances also take away from the power of the message that the artwork itself had, and that kind of takes away the whole point of making art, if you have to kind of hide behind this sort of shame of never being good enough. And I fully acknowledge that I might be putting words into someone else's mouth by saying this, but to me, That always sounded a bit like you haven't seen anything yet, since I can do so much better when I'm not making these silly mistakes, and if you were a true professional, you'd hate your own art too. For us creative people, this negative way of speaking about all of our past work has become a strange merit of our true professionalism, and I think it's time to realize that that's not a sign of a true artist. That's something completely different, and we shouldn't combine those two concepts. And words matter. The way we speak about ourselves matters. I truly think that if I keep saying that I hate my own art, or that my skill level isn't good enough to present to the public, or I'm not good enough to have an Instagram account or be an art-tuber on YouTube, I honestly think that in the end, I will believe that. I will believe that I'm not good enough, and my art is not worth seeing. It's not just deflection. I think that sort of self-deprecation will eventually feel true to yourself if you keep using sentences like that. So that's why I think this matters. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of artist friends who have the same way that I have dealt with anxiety and depression, and I think we don't take those problems seriously. I think we tend to label those as artists are sad. And I don't know about you, but I'm done normalizing anxiety and depression among creative people. It's not glamorous, it's not cool, and it's diminishing serious problems that people are going through. And it's not compassionate to say that creative people are just sad people. That's not the case. It's this culture, and that's optional, and we can opt out of it. How about we start treating each other with the respect we all deserve? Stop being jealous of each other's skills, because there's enough room for all kinds of art. Even that one style that you personally don't like, even that style and those artists are just doing what they want to see on the canvas. Just let them be. Stop hating, there's enough space for all types of creativity. Maybe we can stop labeling people dealing with depression as just another sad artist and try to help them the same way we'd help any other of our friends in that situation. We don't have to buy into this culture of self-hatred and competition, especially because art can be so much fun and it can give so much joy to the artists themselves. I honestly think that living a creative life is living an enhanced life. Being an artist is a gift, it's an adventure, and it's a challenge, but it doesn't have to be a punishment. And these are the reasons why I stopped fearing about how people might comment on the way I talk English or how I look on camera, and I thought that I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I thought that this is a big enough reason for me to do this, and that's why I'm here, and that's why this channel exists. Yes, I think there's a lot of frustration when it comes to learning art, and when I teach art, some of those frustrations are just technical of how to make brushes or how layers work. I think it's important to address those problems as well, because they are easily overcome. But I think it's also important to discuss about what the purpose of art is in the artist's life, because most of the art that you will ever make will never be sold and will not make you any money. It's possible that all the art you will ever make will never make you any money. And still, if you decide to spend so much of your life making art, I want to make damn sure that you try to enjoy that part of your life and not waste it. And the schools where I have taught concept art, they would never pay me to have this as part of the lesson in the course when there's a limited number of hours that they pay me to speak. So I wanted to have this opportunity to have my own way of getting this message across. Maybe I can change the whole culture on my own, but I sure as hell feel like it's my responsibility to try. So this is it. This is approximately my 100th video on YouTube, and we now have about 5,000 subscribers. I know that for a lot of you that might seem like a small number, but I'm incredibly grateful that you are all here and you are part of this journey with me. And I think it's so fascinating to talk about art with all of you in the comments below. There was just a video that I made a few weeks ago that got almost 0 views but had the most meaningful comments, and I was just so happy to meet that person in the comments section. So I don't regret any of the numbers, even if they're big or small. That doesn't really matter when it comes to human connection. I'm Mikko. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Go and paint awesome stuff. Actually, you don't have to paint awesome stuff. Just paint something. That's enough. Go paint stuff, and I will see you in the next video. And I'll be here for the next 100 videos too. Bye.